In a quiet fishing along the Lagos Lagoon, there lived a poor fisherman named Ikenna. Life had always been a struggle for him. No matter how hard he worked or how many times he cast his net, his catch was barely enough to feed his wife and 2 children. Each night, he would stare at the sky, praying for his fortune to change. One morning, as the sun rose over the glimmering waters, Ikenna went out to fish like he always did. He cast his net deep into the lagoon and waited. Hours passed, and his net remained empty. Frustrated and exhausted, he cast it one last time. This time, the net became unusually heavy. He pulled and pulled with all his might, and as the net rose to the surface, he gasped. Caught in the net was the most beautiful creature he had ever seen, a mermaid. Her scales shimmered in shades of gold and silver, and her hair flowed like a cascade of light. "Set me free," the mermaid pleaded, her voice as soft as a lullaby. He had heard stories of mermaids, mystical beings who brought good fortune, or terrible curses, to those who crossed their path. "Release me," they continued, "I will make you the richest man in your village. But you must promise never to tell anyone about me." He hesitated, his thoughts racing. A poor man all his life, he saw this as his chance to finally escape poverty. Swallowing his fear, he nodded. "I promise." He untangled the mermaid from his net. Before slipping back into the water, she handed him a small golden shell. "Each morning, open this shell," she said. "You will find riches beyond your imagination. But remember, if you break your promise, all will be lost." That day on, Ikenna's life transformed. Each morning, he opened the golden shell, and it would produce a handful of gold coins. He used the wealth to buy a grand house, fine clothes, and the best food the markets could offer. But as Ikenna's wealth grew, so did the curiosity of the villagers. How had a simple fisherman suddenly become so rich? Whispers spread like wildfire. Some said he had found buried treasure. Others claimed he had made a pact with dark forces. The pressure mounted. At every feast and gathering, people would corner Ikenna, demanding to know his secret. At first, he brushed them off, laughing and changing the subject. But the questions never stopped. During a lavish celebration at his new mansion, Ikenna drank more palm wine than he should have. Under the influence, and eager to show off, he stood before his guests and boasted. "I owe my wealth to no one but my cleverness," he declared. "I caught a mermaid in my net, and she gave me this golden shell." Filled the room. Some were amazed, others envious. News of Ikenna's confession spread quickly, reaching ears far beyond the village. Later, as Ikenna sat alone by the lagoon, enjoying the cool breeze, the waters began to ripple. Out of the depths rose the mermaid, her face no longer soft and kind but cold and full of sorrow. "You betrayed me," she said, her voice echoing like thunder. "I didn't mean to," Ikenna pleaded, falling to his knees. "I was drunk. Please forgive me." But the man shook her head. "I warned you never to tell. You have broken our pact, and now, you must pay the price." Wave of her hand, the golden shell appeared in the air before shattering into pieces. A fierce wind swept through the village that night. By morning, Ikenna's mansion had crumbled to dust. His gold had vanished, and his family was left with nothing but the rags they had once worn. The villagers, angry at Ikenna for squandering such a miraculous gift, turned on him. Some accused him of bringing bad luck to the village, while others simply resented his wealth. Cast out, Ikenna was forced to live as a beggar by the lagoon. Desperate to undo his mistake, he spent every waking moment searching for the mermaid, calling out to her, begging for another chance. But the mermaid was never seen again. As the years passed, Ikena grew old and frail. Every day, he would sit by the lagoon, staring into the water, hoping for a glimpse of the creature who had once made him the richest man in the village. But the lagoon remained silent, its waters hiding the secrets of the deep.